freedom, prosperity, a unified Canadian identity. I believe Canada was founded on the values of hard work, generosity, freedom, and tolerance. I will protect these Canadian values. We have only 40 seconds to talk to you with respect to tonight and answering our questions. Please go to my website, kellieworks.ca, for more information. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you.
More rules, more red tape, more money to pay for it. Income taxes, payroll taxes, and now a carbon tax. Deficits increasing, debt at historic levels. The Liberals are choking off the private sector in this country with their reckless spending. I will cap government spending. Hard work and prosperity are values that we all hold dear. High taxes, bloated spending, those are Liberal values. The only way we can all prosper for the long term is when the private sector grows and the public sector shrinks. And before, I will cap government spending. Reducing the size and cost of government is the best way forward to give confidence to and to grow the private sector. Balanced budgets and debt reduction are important for our future prosperity. We can't saddle the next generation of Canadians with increasing debt and taxation. For me, tax relief for families making under $75,000 a year is combined income, tax relief and regulation relief for small businesses, the engine of our economy, are key to our success.
Thank you. Chris Alex.
The Prime Minister of Canada has to focus on the prosperity of all Canadians, and that does include eliminating trade barriers across the country. But for myself, number one priority will be having a working relationship with the new President of the United States, our largest trading partner and one we have to work with. Current Prime Minister Trudeau doesn't seem to think that that's a responsibility of our Prime Minister. I think it does. I have common interests with Mr. Trump, screening being one of them. But I'll be frank with you, I will be very focused on making sure I'm tough on him as he's tough on NAFTA to make sure Canadians get what they need. Things is that there's this growing gap between what the elites in this country think of and the average Canadian. That average Canadian is trying to achieve the Canadian dream, and a big part of achieving that Canadian dream is making sure we have a relationship that works with the United States of America, that we can be prosperous, we can be economically prosperous. For me, that means having a working relationship with the new president-elect. We have some common ideas. I plan on being tough on him when it comes to NAFTA because that means economic prosperity for Canadians. We have to work together on this. I will be able to work with the next President of the United States of America.
Thank you. Kellie Leitch.
Currently, only 1 in 10 immigrants to this country receive a face-to-face interview by a trained immigration officer. The focus today seems to be on quotas. I'm concerned about that. And it's all in this book. A sociologist who's interviewed many immigration officials. I will protect our Canadian values. Everyone on this stage supports immigration, but I am the only candidate who will require face-to-face interviews of new immigrants and screen for Canadian values. You can get more information on this book on my website, kellieworks.ca.
Thank you. Lisa Ray.
I support immigration, and I support face-to-face interviews so that those that are coming to this country and want to integrate, we actually know how to help them. I also believe Canada has a unified Canadian identity, unlike Mr. Trudeau, who believes we have no core identity. You know, Mr. Trudeau is running around being and trying to be Prime Minister of the United Nations, giving out $5 billion to other countries to fight global warming, money I think we could use here at home. I'm running to be Prime Minister of this country to protect our Canadian values.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Kellie Leitch.
Let me be clear. I will abolish the Trudeau carbon tax the day I become Prime Minister. Concrete steps need to be taken to reduce pollution and obviously to protect the natural beauty of our country, but a carbon tax, a national carbon tax, is not the answer. Here in Saskatchewan, the use of innovative carbon capture technology is a way forward. I support that, but I don't support interfering with the efforts with another tax, one that will hurt prosperity and do nothing at all to make sure we have a cleaner environment. Having grown up in Fort McMurray, Alberta, I know Canadians take pride in the natural beauty of our country. Our vast natural resources are part of our shared Canadian identity. But what we need to do is we need to build pipelines, and I will do that as soon as I become Prime Minister, whether that be Energy East, Keystone, or Kinder Morgan. Moving oil through a pipeline is a lot safer than on trucks or trains. We know that that's more environmentally friendly, and it creates jobs. And I'm looking forward to working with the President-elect, someone who supports the Keystone Pipeline, to make sure we can put Canadians back to work.
Thank you.
As I mentioned before, the Prime Minister of Canada needs to focus on the prosperity of all Canadians, and that means having a constructive and positive relationship with our largest trading partner, the United States. For myself, you know, it's like if they sneeze, we get a cold. That's how close we are to them. We have to be focused. We have to make sure that Canadians' interests are at the table. Mr. Trump and I have a few things in common, like screening on immigrants. I plan to talk to him about that, but also to talk to him about his tough stance on NAFTA. And I will be someone he respects across the table, and I will make sure that the economic prosperity of Canadians is heard loud and clear.
Thank you.
Trade must benefit more Canadians, and that includes making sure that small and medium-sized businesses, including farms, have better access. I will negotiate in trade deals for those small and medium-sized farms. I support farmers, and I support farming families, and I support supply management. I also support our party's constitution and our policy process. Our membership voted in Vancouver that we would support supply management. We will only change, and I would only change that policy if the members of our party choose to do so. Unlike other candidates in this race, I respect the party membership and the decisions that the party membership has made.
Kellie Leitch.
I've been organizing in this party since 1979, when my dad recruited me to a campaign in Fort McMurray, Alberta. I love this party, and I love its membership, and I've been listening to you every day. And what you've been telling me is that you want to be respected, you want to be heard, that you want to have a party that's decentralized, that doesn't tell you what to do from Ottawa. You want a party that recruits women and recruits young people so that we can win the next election. I have a track record of recruiting youth and women. I have a track record of making sure that members are heard, and that's the type of leadership I'll deliver if I'm leader of this party.
Thank you.
I'm a strong and hardworking individual who will not be bullied or by those with politically correct views into having and not allowing us to have important discussions that make Canada safe, stronger, and enhance our unified Canadian identity. I believe in a unified Canadian identity, and I'm the only candidate on this stage that's willing to do something about it. I will work to protect our Canadian identity and to protect our Canadian values by ensuring that every person who seeks to come to Canada has a face-to-face interview.